Hey there, entrepreneurs. This is Cliff. This is going to be my first video on this channel, and this channel is geared towards people who are interested in getting into tree work and everything that entails. I have been doing tree work for about 2 years, and I've had quite an interesting career. I basically I went to engineering school, and I wanted to be an inventor since I was as young as I could remember. And it took everything I had just to graduate from college. It was so hard. To this day, I still have nightmares about physics classes and differential equations and these kinds of things. And somebody once asked me, "Are you afraid of heights?" And I said, "No, I'm afraid of cubicles." And it's true. I When I was working as an engineer, all I could think about was freedom. The money was okay. I mean, it wasn't what I was promised, and so basically, I started my own business. Basically, just got to the point where I was just looking for an out, and I started a business, and I actually started a YouTube channel, and I was getting design clients out of it and selling products, and so then when I did get fired, I got to go travel. I got to go live in Thailand. I got to go. Eventually I moved to Hawaii, and I got into sustainability, which is really interesting for me. And I started, finding these intentional communities, and I got pretty inspired by it. And then I found this one community that just really resonated with me. But they have all these strict rules, no EMFs, no Wi-Fi, and this and that. And so I ended up living there, and everything was provided, food, didn't have to worry about cost of anything. So I let my business go. And in the 3 months I was there, I met a woman who I fell in love with, and we both got kicked out of the community together. And I followed her back to Santa Fe, and the relationship didn't work out. Became quite toxic. And then I started a business when I was in Santa Fe, New Mexico, with her, and it took off. And I decided to go move to Bali with one of my friends who I met in Hawaii, and had a great time there. And business crashed, ran out of money, came back to the U.S., and then I ended up going to the Big Island, where I got my first job in the sustainability realm for a startup community that I kind of resonated with. It was cool because it was my first opportunity. And then I met another woman there who I fell deeply in love with, and I ended up actually was on the Big Island when the volcano erupted. It was about a mile from where I was living, and it was pretty intense, pretty scary. And I ended up going back to the East Coast with her, where she was living, and for a summer, and it didn't work out. And so then I was just totally drifting, lost, didn't know what I wanted to do. So I decided to beg and plead to go back to the community that I was kicked out of. And so I did, and I ended up living there for 3.5 years. And one of my goals when I went back there was to start a business that tremendously benefited the community, and also benefited the neighbors and the people who lived in the surrounding areas. And so it had to be something that wasn't very technological. It was really farmy. And one of the first things I did was selling coconuts. It was just such a hustle. It was probably my least favorite business I ever did. Unless you're selling to like tourists and things like that, like $10 a coconut. So then I started breeding worms and selling worm casting, which was a really cool idea. I'm still really inspired by it, and I still have an operation going, although it's not making me a large sum of money. And I considered carpentry. That was something that was very interesting to me, but never really found the mentor for that. But there was a guy who came to our community who was doing tree work. He was, pruning the trees and, climbing, 50, 60, 70 feet up in the trees, and it was really captivating for me to see that. And I, I was just always in love with trees, and always loved climbing them. It was adventurous and exciting. So he took me under his wing, and he basically got me set up. He told me what I needed to buy, and he coached me through the first few trees that I climbed. He's become a good friend of mine. And he told me, one of your duties is to teach other people how to do this. And it entails a lot of responsibility, because it has the tendency to be an incredibly dangerous job. There's things that can go wrong. There's a chainsaw. I personally have done everything I can to make it as safe as possible. I always wear a helmet when I'm up in the tree. I always use 2 lifelines, because there's always chance something could happen. Heaven forbid, but a limb could break, or there's just things that can go wrong. So I believe in absolving liability wherever possible. And the thing that's so cool about tree work, other than the fact that it's basically the intersection of sustainability and entrepreneurship, is that it's in really high demand. And I have a lot of friends who do tree work on around the islands, and I work for them, and every time I work for one of my friends, I learn something new. They do it differently, and they all have their specializations. One of my favorite crews to work with is the local guys, and they're completely set up. They have all the machines. They have a backhoe. They have a big chipper. They have chip truck. They've got this lift. I got to do it one time with him. He put me in the lift. He said, "All right, get all your ropes, put it in the lift," and we go up to the top of the canopy. I throw my bundle of ropes over, clip it in my ascender, and I'm in the tree, and it saved me time and energy of getting up there. So one of the great things about this business is it's mostly cash. A lot of my clients pay cash, and it's very word of mouth. What I find is I do a really good job. I get referred, and it's just really easy. This is the easiest business I've ever come across. And everything I've tried in terms of advertising, because I come from sort of internet marketing type technology background, everything works. Everything I've ever tried in terms of marketing works. Business cards work very well. Just randomly scraping email addresses from targeted markets that I dream up, and send blast emails to. That has worked for me to get clients. I've worked on other islands. I know tree guys who they do landscaping as well. One of my visions is to design communities, entire treehouse communities, and I've actually looked at it. There is actually one in Costa Rica that exists called Finca Bella Vista. I was actually invited to go down there and stay. I haven't accepted it up until this point, because I'm really focused on what I'm creating here. And so my hopes are that if you are interested in the profession of trees, of caring for trees, and sometimes we have to take their lives. Invasive trees, I take out a lot of African tulips, gunpowders, different types of tree, or if there's a tree that's dying. And so it requires sometimes educating clients, and sometimes the clients want to do something that's actually not in the best interest of the big picture, and it's my job to inform them, give them the information to make the right decision. So yeah, if you are interested, please hit the subscribe button and like this video, and comment, tell me why you're interested in getting into the tree business, and I will be posting videos weekly. Thank you so much.